a group of us decided that when we brought the trial back 10 years ago, that we wanted it to be something that can help our local economy and help our nonprofits. So together we just, start making it happen and getting support from different businesses and bring it along. My name's Maggie Mcclure, and this is Sid, who's being very attentive to the sheep around the corner because he's a sheepdog, and he's 2 years old and his first season competing, and so we'll be competing at the Vashon Sheepdog Classic this weekend.
This is Freddie. Freddie is going to be running in the Nursery Class, which is for dogs that are under a certain age by a certain date. So the specifics I'm looking for is him to have what would be a clean outrun. And that's when the sheep are sitting out somewhere and I send him from my side to go and call what we call gather. So I'm looking for him to always be taking the pressure off the sheep. So the whole point of this sport, believe it or not, is the sheep. So everything is really about them. And you're here to work sheep, not the dog. The dog is your tool to work the sheep properly. So that's what I'm always looking for, is that he is attempting to always work the sheep in a very workmanlike manner, a quiet manner that doesn't upset the sheep and stress the sheep. So that usually involves some distance, depending on the sheep you're working. So as I work him, I'm looking for him to always be giving space to them so that they don't panic. This year he's really coming on better, and so we have high hopes for him.
Well, Sid's actually very new to me too. He's been through a couple homes. He was socially troubled, one might say. So we're excited to have him on the right path and thriving. This will be his first competition on Vashon. It's a challenging one because the sheep are so fresh and the hilly terrain is going to be hard for him, but I think he's going to do a great job. Most dogs get started at 1 year of age, plus or minus a couple months, and we just slowly build up their training. We start in a very small space and just grow it bigger and bigger until, we know our dogs have the skill set and the tools to be able to go a mile and pick up sheep and know what to do when they get there without any assistance from us. So that all starts small, usually at a year old. So he's 2.5. So he has a year and a half of training under his belt. And so this class will be a little smaller than our open class, but in that way I'm a little bit more available to him to help him along his way and guide him through the course. Well, we call it the Nursery Class, and that's for dogs that are 2 years of age or under. And that's where most of the dogs get started. Some dogs are not even ready to compete by 2. And then we'll see them in what we call Pro Novice Class, which also runs on Thursday. And the Pro Novice Class actually is interesting because it'll be someone like me who's an open competitor with a young dog, or a very seasoned dog with all the experience, and maybe a new person who has no experience or has little experience, and they've decided to get into it, so they got themselves a dog to help show them the ropes, so to speak.
Prior to going to a competition like tomorrow, I usually will just focus a little bit on where I know he's weak, and just try and, in his case, he has what we call a fair amount of eye, and so he can sometimes not want to open up a flank the way he should, and so I'll usually just practice a little bit on making sure he's clean on those flanks, and I try not to actually do a lot. I want him fresh and ready for tomorrow, so I really keep it very short, 5-10 minute session. Just make sure he's listening. The classes are very competitive, so he's a young dog. I don't really push young dogs to compete. I prefer to just kind of see what happens, and if they're ready, they're ready.
It's a whole mix. We have people training dogs just as a hobby. Maybe they have a small farm. There's some people who live in a city and they rent a field somewhere and have their sheep. We have people who are pros who are training dogs for other people to compete. And we have people who are ranchers or shepherds who are working at large, with large lots of land and sheep. So it's a big mix of experiences and backgrounds. We want the dogs moving along and getting a good solid foundation. So that's what I'm hoping to see is if I win or lose on Thursday, I'm hoping that my dog is showing me that he's got good control of the stock and is understanding where I'm trying to help him along the way.